And it goes a little something like.
Hello guys, we are Group 3 and we are here to discuss about you 3 modifiers of human acts, and I hope at the end of this video, you will able to learn and apply it in real life. So ano pang hihintay natin? Tara na!
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Good day. This is Denzel Minimo, and we will discuss one of the modifiers of human acts, which is ignorance. Ignorance is basically the lack of knowledge or information about anything. A person being ignorant is in a state of being unaware on his or her surroundings or on the situations he or she is involved in. One good example of a person being ignorant is someone saying that the earth is flat with evidences that the moon landing is fake and staged at Area 51, even if others present the evidence that is the opposite of his claim. The aforementioned example is applied as a principle of invincible ignorance. Since the person who argued for the flat earth simply refused to listen to people showing evidences that disprove the flat earth argument and resorting to lying about moon landing, horizons, the firmament, and the like, thinking that he is smarter than any reputable astronomer. Basically, invincible ignorance is an argument that mimics the consistency that came from a made-up position, like the flat earth or the New World Order, and the like. There are other kinds of ignorance, like the vincible and affected ignorance. Vincible ignorance is just a lack of person's knowledge due to the lack of effort, like a religious person having doubts about his faith. Affected ignorance is just a person pretending to be ignorant in order to just be innocent, like a person pretending not to have heard the current news today.
Fear. Fear is a modifier of human acts that affects our decision consciously and unconsciously. It is a disturbance of the mind of a person who is confronted by impending danger or harm to himself or loved ones. So basically, ito yung sinasabi nga dito. Yun yung minsan nagagawa natin yung mga bagay dahil nga sa takot na minsan hindi na namamalayan natin. Nagawa na pala natin yung dapat na hindi natin gawin. So, minsan din, conscious tayo. Dahil, kasi, parang, kuwari, natakot ka. Conscious tayo dun. Ano yung normal natin gagawin? Tatakbo. Yun. Conscious tayo kasi, parang, dahil sa takot, wala na tayong magagawa. Takbo na lang.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, classmates. And I'm here to discuss what I've learned in our last term. And we choose fear. So, what is fear? Fear is a disturbance of the mind caused by the thought of a threatening evil. So, in fear, there are 4 principles. And the first 2 will be discussed by my partner, and I will discuss the other. And the first one will be the actions done out of fear are conditionally involuntary. So example of this is drinking due to peer pressure. Basically, in this principle, we deal it with pressure, and pressure is the key term in this principle. And the other one will be the actions done out of grave or intense fear or panic are involuntary. So example of this is death threat. And in this principle, it obscures the mind. And that is basically in this principle. That's all. Thank you.
Hello guys, the third modifier that we choose is habit. So, what is habit? I learned from the previous discussion that habit is an act or behavior that is repeated very often, and the people under habit is unaware of what she or he is doing. In other words, it is a synonymous to addiction, obsession, and tradition. Now we know a brief explanation about habit. The question now is, how habit can affect our decision. I learned that when our brain is under of making decision, and that decision is repeated very often or repeated over and over again, it can exhaust our will to create another decision. That's why habit are decisions that you only need to make once. For more understanding about this topic, my groupmates will give a good example and connect it in the appropriate principle. Thank you.
A good example of habit is before the examination. Students are required to review their lessons. Meaning in this example, the students must review their lessons that they have learned in the past few days or weeks before the examination. It applies into the habit principles is habits do not destroy voluntariness and morality, meaning acts from habits are always voluntary, at least cause as long as the habit is allowed to endure. So the question is, why is this principle applicable to this situation? It is principle that applicable in situation that we want to know what to do that one is not aware of it. Hence, the moral responsibility should the habit do the people recurring that would be a good example for. It should be applicable when the people do this habit again. It will not be aware of others.